Scroll Patrol.
Scroll Patrol.
Let's go. Okay, so to preface, there's a lot of financial influencers, I'll say, out there, like yourself. And I don't know the rules on like who's your arch nemesis, who do you like, who do you enjoy their advice. So hopefully this is cool.
And to that point, these are legitimate, genuine reactions. I have not seen this before. Jen picks these, I watch it and react in real time. It's terrifying to me because I don't know either. And so we're about to find out.
Okay, go ahead and click on that.
My car payment used to be $350 a month when I lived in San Francisco. Do you know how much I actually paid out of pocket? Over $1,000 a month. Listen closely, because almost nobody counts in all the phantom costs of the purchases you have. My car payment was $350, but that does not include gas, maintenance. I paid, I think, $200 a month in parking. Parking tickets, you should include that too. If you get any, that's a phantom cost. Registration, insurance, all of it. And if that is how much my car payment was, imagine how much the phantom costs on a house are.
So that is Ramit Sethi. Sethi? I am not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name exactly correctly. He's not my nemesis.
Okay. Also, I feel like you should do more
basis.
walking videos. I was very engaged. You should do some of those. That was cool.
Oh, really? Okay. Such an easy, yeah. It was, yeah, if you're just listening, it was Ramit walking through a city talking about car payments, of course. And yeah, not my nemesis. I would say probably of all the financial people out there, he is who I'm most aligned with in terms of philosophy. We both, and on this topic, especially things like cars and housing, it's just so easy to look at part of a payment. You know, this is what my mortgage payment will be. This is what my loan payment will be. This is my lease payment will be, whatever, and ignore all that other stuff. And what you should really be looking at is like total cost of ownership, you know, including depreciation, like all the stuff you just mentioned. And so I love that. I love when he talks about this stuff. It really ruffles feathers because people don't like having like the mirror held up to them and saying, you know, they want to live in this fiction where anything over the car payment doesn't exist. And if, you know, of course there's rationalizations like, yeah, you're going to need gas anyway, but like maybe not. You know, he said, I forget his exact numbers. It was $350 a month, but I went to 600 or whatever it was. You know, for $600 a month, you might have options. Like maybe you could bike to work sometimes and take an Uber sometimes, or you could take public transit or get a cheaper car. And I think what happens a lot these days is people will get like a $700 car payment, which sounds outrageous. And then when you include what he was just talking about, it takes your total cost of ownership up to maybe $1,000 or $1,200 a month. And they could maybe have a total cost of driving a car of $200 or $300 a month, like I have with many used cars I bought in my life. And that's a massive delta. It's like $1,000 a month difference, right? So I grade these scroll patrols on an A through F, F being like, this is absolute nonsense, and A being like dead on. I'd give this one an A, maybe an A plus. You know, it's exactly right. There's nothing really controversial here. I think absolutely should be looking at total cost of ownership and all the other phantom costs associated with anything that you buy, not just trying to live in this fiction of, can I just barely make this payment, because that's how you're going to stay broke when all these other costs, you know, invariably crop up.
Okay, shout out Ramit. Shout out, and a couple more shout outs actually. Number one, to my brother who loves Ramit. He is a huge fan, and I think that you two are aligned and that you two would actually get along in real life. And number two is to my car, Rhonda the Honda. Actually, the third shout out will be to my mom, who gave me that car for $1, sold me that car for $1 when I moved to California.
Tax fraud.
Just on the record too. And I had to pay to ship it out here because I was not driving across the country in a 2008 Honda Civic. But I've been in California now for 5 years. My mom had that car for probably like 7 or 8 before me because it was used when she got it. And I thank God every day for this car. Just like rub the little dashboard. I'm like, thank you, Rhonda, because not having to pay a car payment is so clutch. And I hope I never have to pay one again. Hope that Rhonda just lasts me for another 50 years.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, yeah. No, it was 2 cars ago, but I drove it from 2010 to 2016. Was a 1999 Ford Explorer. I paid $3,000 cash when I, kind of like you, I moved to California, went to Craigslist. You know, it was like, I kind of wanted a Toyota just for reliability, but the Toyotas were like twice as much money, same make, mile, years kind of equivalents. And so I bought a Ford Explorer for $3,000. Once a year or so, it had a mechanical problem, and I took it to this guy named Dave, and he charged me $500, and he fixed the serpentine belt or the fuel pump or whatever stupid thing went wrong in these cars. And, it was a little bit inconvenient, but my total cost of ownership on that car over the 6 years I drove it was probably about a couple $100 a month. $500 a year for those repairs. That is less than $50 a month in repairs. There was no car payment. The depreciation was only $1,500 because I bought it for $3,000. I sold it for $1,500 6 years later. And it was a great car. People are so emotional about cars. They're like, oh, I need to like project success, or girls aren't going to like me, or yada yada yada. Like I took girls on dates in that car. They thought I was cool. Like if a girl literally was going to look at my car and say, this guy's not cool, he drives a very clean, well maintained like SUV, like that's kind of a lame.
Now,
girl,
what car did you have? Did you have that car when you met Andrea?
I might have actually.
Okay,
well, because
so
we
it
met
works.
and then we started dating many years later. When we started dating, I was driving a Mazda CX-5. It was much more new. It was like what I bought after I sold the Explorer.
Okay,
so
all right.
Is she just a Mazda chaser? We'll never know. She might just be one of those.
Yeah, your lawyer wife.
Right. Yeah, my private practice, owns her own practice attorney wife. She's just trying. She sees a Mazda mini SUV driving by, and she's like, "How do I get in that passenger
that
seat?"
Guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing, cool. Well, shout out to Ramit. Good job. A+, I believe.